Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Switch and Click here, and today we'll be talking about how do you make your keyboard more quiet. So first, let me go get a louder keyboard. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've returned, so that noise is something awkward. We went snowboarding last year and apparently we threw our helmet, or one of our helmets, into the closet, and it's been really cold and humid here, so there was some mold on the helmet, but I'm trying to wash it off in the laundry machine. So anyways, your keyboard sound like this when you're typing. And then your parents or your family, friends, whatever, they're like, oh, stop it. It's just so annoying. Or you're Twitch streaming and your audience is like, what is that noise? And then someone says, oh, it's his keyboard. And they're just like, oh, no. So today we'll be talking about how do you make your keyboard more quiet even if you have something like Cherry MX Blue switches or the Razer Green switches. So the first thing you can do is you can use O-rings. I'm going to show you guys since I have some O-rings on my keyboard. Let's see if it'll... Okay, this is my spacebar. There's an O-ring here, and one in the middle. I'm one of those people that put O-rings on pretty much every one of my keys because I'm a little bit OCD like that. But usually you just pick the keys that you use most often and put O-rings on those specific keys. It's about $6 to $10 for a pack of 100 like tiny O-rings on Amazon. It's really cheap. We'll link everything in the associated blog post down below. That will be more detailed and won't have these annoying sounds going on as well. So the second thing you can do is you can clip, lube, and band-aid mod your stabilizers. This is something that we haven't done yet, but we definitely plan on doing very soon. Probably this weekend we're gonna go hit up the store, get us some dielectric grease, and we'll lube our stabilizers. So stabilizers are the things that are on your longer keys. I'll show you the stabilizer. So this thing and this thing are part of like one really big stabilizer. And you have stabilizers on your shift, enter, backspace, and the other shift. So four small stabilizers and one really big stabilizer. But that, when you press it, it bottoms out, and that makes a noise when it hits your PCB or when it's like gliding among itself and things are touching and it's rattling and it makes noise. So some things you can do are you can clip them. So the stems, the part of the stabilizers that move up and down, it has 2 extra feet. So all you do is you take your stabilizers out, you take your wire clippers, and you clip both of the feet of both stems. And you place them back in. You can also use dielectric grease to lube your stabilizers, every moving part, making sure that they glide like butter and no additional friction is there. The last thing you can do is you can band-aid mod them, which means you'll get some cloth band-aids, some lube. You're going to cut little small rectangles, place it onto the PCB where the stabilizers are going to hit, and then put some lube on your band-aids. And then you'll put everything back together and throw it back into your keyboard. So it's recommended that if you're going to be taking your stabilizers out anyways, you might as well do all 3 steps. It really doesn't take that long, and it's not super expensive. This is something that we're going to do very soon, so we'll be filming that video soon as well, and we'll link that into the blog post and maybe put it at the end of this one, whatever is convenient. And then the next thing you can do, you can add foam padding to your bigger keys. So under the spacebar, you get a piece of foam, cut it into the exact size of the spacebar to put within the keycap, and cut little holes for the stem so that it lays flat. You want a compressible foam so that it can, when you're pressing, it'll be smaller, and then it'll get big when you're not pressing anymore. But yeah, and the other thing you can do is you can use foam under your PCB and in your case. So if your case is here, you want like a foam layer, and then your PCB on top of that. And what all of these things do is that they fill up the space where noise can travel or echo through. And yeah, it'll just dampen out the noise, reduce the sounds. And the last thing you can do is you can lube your switches. This is very, very, very time consuming. We haven't done this yet, but we definitely plan on doing it someday. You're going to need a paintbrush, a switch separator thing. It has a name. It's not a switch puller. It's like a switch something, but you push your switch in there and it separates the two housings of the switch, so you can reveal the stem and the springs. And then a paintbrush and lube, and you just lube every moving part within your top housings, the stem and the spring, and then put it all back together and put it back into your keyboard. So to do that for every single switch is going to take quite some time. It can take between 1 and 2 hours depending on how much experience you have and how many keys you have. So if you have a full-size keyboard and you've never done this before, it's probably going to take you quite some time. But if you have a 40% and you're pretty experienced, it's not going to take a long time at all. And the last thing, which is our bonus tip, is use a desk mat or use a towel underneath your keyboard, and that'll reduce the echo between your keyboard and the table. And when you're typing, you're making rattling noises, or your keyboard's is moving on top of your table. So with that layer between, you're going to dampen out some of those sounds. So I hope some of these tips is going to help you make your keyboard quieter, whether that's in the office, at home, nighttime gaming, whatever it is. You don't want to sound like this. You want to sound like this. So quiet is better. At least for me, sometimes, people like the click. I like the clicks and the feels, but not like not this. Because I used to stream and I thought that was really annoying when I heard it on someone else's computer. Like, if I was the one streaming and I had someone else playing with me, like, I didn't want to hear that over the mic onto my stream too. So maybe that's selfish, whatever. It was my stream. But yeah, those are our tips. I'll link the post down below. I think I added all of the items and stuff that you need and the steps within the blog too. And something else that you can use to put between your PCB and your case is some kind of rubber thing. I'll link that in the blog post as well. I'm not sure what it is, but it's not foam. It's a different kind of thing. But a lot of people on Reddit were recommending it, so I figured I would add that in there as well. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. I'm going to stop filming now because the laundry machine is getting really annoying. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!